yes, my hair is purple, and it is not a wig. Hey, Phantom friends! I am back. I'm sorry it's been so long, but I started school back, and my kids are starting school this week, and it's just been absolute chaos, and so I just did not have the time, and I'm gonna try and keep videos consistent, but during the school year it's gonna be crazy hectic, so I'm gonna do what I can, and just please be patient with me. Anyway, today we're gonna do something fun that was a suggestion by one of y'all down in the comments. We are going to sort various characters in Phantom of the Opera into their Hogwarts houses. I thought this was a brilliant idea, and I love Harry Potter, have since I was a little kid, and as you can see, I'm a proud Ravenclaw. But today, we're gonna find out what our other beloved characters' Hogwarts houses are. And this is the official quiz from Wizarding World. So it is the official Pottermore sorting hat quiz. It's on a different website because the Pottermore website only allows you to take it once under one account, and I was already placed into my house. So we found it again on a different site. But this is the same quiz. It is the official one endorsed by J.K. Rowling. So why don't we get started? So I think we should definitely start with, of course, Eric. And now I'm also going to kind of make my predictions on what house I think they're going to end up in. So for Eric, my guess is definitely either Ravenclaw or Slytherin. Probably Slytherin. But I think Ravenclaw is also a very possible option as well. So we shall see. Okay, what would you least like to be called? Okay, and we're gonna do Eric throughout most of the book, since he's a very dynamic character, and who he is at the end is definitely not who he was at throughout most of the book. And so we're going to just kind of do who he generally was as we all tend to think of him, because his priorities were a little bit different at the beginning versus the end. Okay, so what would you least like to be called? Ignorant, cowardly, selfish, ordinary. I feel like he would say ignorant. I don't think he would, I don't think he'd want to be called cowardly either. I also don't feel that he would really want to be called ordinary, but at the same time, he also really just wanted to fit in. So I think we can count out ordinary. Selfish, I don't think he gave a shit throughout most of the book, if we're gonna be honest. So it's between ignorant or cowardly, and I'm kind of leaning towards ignorant. I don't know, you guys give me your opinion. When you're dead, what do you want people do when they think of you? God, the grammar. Okay, so what do you want people to do? Miss me and my smile? I think we can definitely count that one out. Think of my achievements, tell stories about my adventures. I don't care what people think of me when I'm dead. It's when I'm alive that counts. Okay. I think the last three are all plausible in their own way. If we're talking Eric in the middle of the book, and I'm talking about like not when he's in Persia and not at the end after his priorities have, drastically changed. We're talking about when he's in the opera house, when all the main events are going on. Because he changed very much over the course of his life. So think of my achievements, tell stories about my adventures. I don't care. See, I feel like think of my achievements and tell stories about my adventures would have been more of his mindset when he was still in Persia. But once he decided to just say fuck everything and go live under the opera house, I don't think he cared anymore. He was just like, fuck all of you and the horse you rode in on. Alright, when I'm dead, I want people to remember me as the good, the great, the wise, the bold. I feel like the good would have been more what he wanted to be remembered by at the end of the book. During the middle, when all the main events were going on, I don't think he gave a shit at all about that. The great, that sounds pretty plausible and also pretty Slytherin if you ask me. The wise, I don't think he was as concerned about being wise as he was knowledgeable, and those are two different things. And the bold, I don't think, I feel like the great describes his desires more than the bold, so we'll say the great. If you could make a potion that would guarantee you one thing, what would it be? Love, glory, wisdom, power. Okay. I feel like glory and power would be more of a when he's in Persia answer. Wisdom, again, it just depends on what Pottermore really means here, because intelligence and knowledge are not the same thing as wisdom. So I feel like that's not really. I think all he wanted was love. When he was still in Persia, he wanted glory and power, but underneath it all, he only wanted those things because they were a substitute for love. Really, all he wanted the whole time was love from birth to death. So we're gonna say love. 4 goblets are placed before you. Which do you drink? The golden potion that gives off bright sunspots that dance around the room, a silvery glittery potion that sparkles as if containing ground diamonds, a thick potion that smells of plums and chocolate, and a black inky potion that gives off fumes that make you see strange visions. This is also a very Slytherin answer, I feel. It also could be a Ravenclaw answer. Slytherin is my secondary house. They're very close. Feel like the black inky potion, to be honest, because, I just think it's funny. It makes you see strange visions. So drugs. You want to get high. But I feel like he would want this one because the strange visions might help with inspiration for his music, and it also might help him kind of escape reality, or make it worse. I don't know. Which instrument is most pleasing to your ear? I don't think this one's that hard. I think we're gonna go with violin, because if that had been organ, then there might have been a little bit more of a, Now, he also loved piano, obviously, but violin, that was definitely, out of these, his instrument of choice. You enter a magical garden. What do you look at first? Luminous pool with something in its depths, statue with a twinkling eye, silver tree with golden apples, talking toadstools. I forgot how weird the questions on these. It's been so long. I forgot how weird the questions are. I honestly feel like the luminous pool with something in its depths, because he was just always seeking more and more and more. It was just never enough. He always needed more knowledge, more, he was always looking to the beyond and the unknown, so. 4 boxes are set before you. Which do you open? plain jet black box with a silver rune that you know to be the mark of Merlin, a golden box with carved feet that warns secret knowledge and unbearable temptation lurk within, a plain pewter box that says I open only for the worthy, and a tortoise shell box that sounds like something living is squeaking inside. This is a tough one. So, the plain jet black box with the mark of Merlin. Now that might be intriguing to him because, you know, he wasn't like actually magical. Unless we're talking about freaking dark romance. But he was, you know, very much into like sleight of hand. He was interested in the occult. So that is entirely plausible. A golden box with the secret knowledge and unbearable temptation. That really sounds like Eric. The secret knowledge and unbearable temptation. I feel like he was more prone to temptation in the middle of the book and, you know, a little bit earlier. And then we have the box that says I open only for the worthy. Well, he was always deep down seeking his worth and just trying to find it in different ways since he couldn't find love. That was how he, you know, like his knowledge and everything was how he was feeling his worth. And then a tortoiseshell box that sounds like something that is living and squeaking inside. Okay, well, especially if you read Susan Kay's novel, he had a soft spot for animals. He hated human beings, but he cared deeply for animals. I think I'm gonna go with more of a LaRue Eric approach here. I feel that's kind of what I've been doing, and they line up pretty well between Susan Kay and novel Eric, and I feel like also Andrew Lloyd Webber Eric was pretty, you know, pretty close to, you know, LaRue as well. But in this particular case, this is where the difference comes in. So in that sense, I feel like the one with the mark of Merlin might have been one that he was would have been more interesting to him during his days in Persia. The box with secret knowledge and unbearable temptation is also one that could apply to Persia, but could still apply to the... Oof. This is tough, you guys. See, I feel like the secret knowledge and temptation is kind of a Ravenclaw answer, and then the I open only for the worthy is kind of a Slytherin question. Now, actually, I would think more of the I open up for the worthy also, yeah, that's kind of a Gryffindor answer. And then the mark of Merlin actually sounds kind of Ravenclaw. I think secret knowledge and unbearable temptation. What smell is most appealing to you? Home, sea, fresh parchment, a log fire. I think fresh parchment. Yeah. A troll breaks into the headmaster's study. Order the following items in the order that you would save them. Dragonpox cure at the headmaster is nearly completed. Student records going back 1,000 years. A book of indecipherable runes thought to have been owned by Merlin. I feel like the Dragonpox cure would be the thing he cared about the least because he didn't give a shit about humans. And so student records going back 1,000 years. A book of indecipherable runes thought to have been owned by Merlin. I feel like this would be in backwards order. The Book of Runes, the student records, and then Dragonpox cure. So, book records cure. Would you rather be trusted, liked, praised, feared, envied, imitated? See, the thing about liked and feared here, which I feel like are the two biggest answers that stand out to me. The problem is he wanted to be feared because he couldn't be liked. So this is another really tricky question. This is what he truly wanted, and this is what he covered that want up with. So I think we're gonna go with what he really wanted deep down. Which of the following do you have the most trouble dealing with? Hunger, being ignored, cold, boredom, loneliness. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with loneliness. If you could have a superpower, which would you choose? Read minds, invisibility, change the fast, change your appearance, talk to animals, super strength. I think we're gonna do change appearance. I think that's a pretty obvious answer there. Which of the following would you most like to study? Centaur, mer people, ghosts, werewolves, vampires, goblins, trolls. Oh my god, this is another... Y'all, we're only at 14. There's 22 questions. Okay, so basically, we're just going to be doing Eric today. And we will make this a series. And we will do the other characters next time. Wow. I feel like it's going to be between ghosts and vampires. Also, potentially werewolves. That I mean, since he chose to pretend to be a ghost, I guess that's the answer we're gonna go with. Which subject at Hogwarts would you be the most interested in studying? Everything. Apparition, hexes and jinxes, secrets about the castle, transfiguration, broom flying, care of magical creatures. I feel like everything is a very Eric answer. He probably wouldn't give too much of a shit about broom flying, but everything else sounds pretty Eric. You and your friends need to cross a bridge guarded by a river troll. He insists that one of you fight him before you can cross. What do you do? Confuse the troll. Have all three of you fight. Volunteer to fight. Draw lots to see who fights. I think Eric would go the sneaky route and confuse the troll. You know that a fellow house member cheated on a test. You got the second highest grade in the class. Your housemate was the highest. Professor Flitwick confronts you and asks if they were cheating. What do you do? Tell him the truth. If he's willing to come in first by cheating, he deserves to be found out. You'll make up the house points your classmate loses. Tell him to ask your classmate and tell him that if he won't tell the truth, you will. Lie and say you don't know. If you knew someone was cheating, you wouldn't wait for Flitwick to ask. You'd tell him before the test started. I feel like it would be tell him to ask him. Because I don't think he's just gonna be... Eric's not a snitch. And, he would not give a shit about making up house points. So I think it would be tell him, you know, ask him. And if he doesn't tell him the truth, then, you know, he will, because he very much would have been pissed off. Because, you know, Eric didn't like to be cheated out of anything. But he would probably want to make the classmate admit it, because that'd be a little bit more vengeful, I think. Which path do you take? Twisting leafy path through the woods, a dark lantern-lit alley, a wide sunny grassy path, a cobblestone street lined with ancient buildings. I feel like he would either want to do the dark lantern-lit alley or cobblestone street lined with ancient buildings, because this is more of a knowledge type thing, and this would help him conceal himself so that nobody would see him. I feel like at the middle of the book, maybe the cobblestone street, the ancient buildings, that might have been like Persia days, but Lantern Lit Alley, when he was trying to avoid everyone, I think that's more of who he is in the middle. Which nightmare would scare you the most? None of your friends and family know who you are, being trapped in a dark room with an eye peering at you through a keyhole, being caught up high with no handholds, being forced to speak in a funny voice so that everyone laughs at you. I feel like it's between this one and this one. Because I feel like Eric was not one to like, you know, he did not want to feel trapped. Especially in the idea of somebody watching him. Then he was also very... that was not his kind of humor. You know, speaking in funny voices and having everyone laugh at him. I feel like maybe this one, though. You're walking down the street late at night and you hear a cry that you're fairly sure has a magical source. What do you do? Withdraw to the shadows, reviewing offensive and defensive spells that might be appropriate. Draw your wand and discover the source. Proceed with caution. Keep a hand on your still concealed wand. Draw your wand and stand your ground. Okay. Honestly, all of these sound like something that he would do. Because, you know, you got to think about how he handled being cornered by, you know, Joseph Bouquet, for instance. He was kind of passive with him for a while until he started really getting up in his business. And then he was like, screw you, I'm done with this. In his Persia days, he was much more immediate, oh hell no. So draw your wand and stand your ground would have been more of a Persia Eric. And then, damn. This is hard, you guys. A lot harder than I anticipated. Holy crap. God, this is tough. I think he might withdraw to the shadows and weigh his options first. Because of how he treated his relationship with Joseph Bouquet, where he was mostly just kind of like tolerating it for a little bit until he just got too, you know, and then he got offensive, kind of. So I think pretty much anytime Eric has the option to withdraw to the shadows, I feel like that's generally kind of the answer. A muggle approaches you and says you're a wizard. How do you react? Ask them why they think so, agree, and offer a sample of a jinx, agree, and walk away, bluffing. Express your concern and offer to call a mental hospital. I feel like this one. Because Eric was an asshole. If you could pick any house to be sorted into, which would you pick? Oof. See, I think he would want to be in either Slytherin or Ravenclaw. Probably just say I'll let the sorting hat decide, because while I think he belongs in one of those two houses, I really can't say for sure. Slytherin. That is exactly... I knew it. I knew it was going to be one or the other. I was pretty sure it was going to be Slytherin. You know, because Slytherins are, you know, they're cunning and intelligent and desire greatness and power. And yeah, I feel like this is definitely accurate. I kind of saw this coming. Okay. So there you have it. Our boy Eric is a Slytherin. At least according to the answers that I felt were appropriate. Tell me your thoughts. Do you think he belongs in Slytherin? Would you have made different choices on some of the, you know, the questions? And, yeah, just let me know your thoughts, and, just maybe take, the quiz yourself with Eric in mind and see what you end up getting, and let me know in the comments what your, Hogwarts house is. I'm interested to know that too. Alright, so, in other news, okay, so as some of you know, I have a merch shop now. There's all kinds of stuff for y'all in there, and there is a link in the description if you are interested. You can also donate to my Patreon to help support me as well. You can get access to, you know, exclusive and early content, things like that. So, stay fantastic with the PH. And keep your hand at the level of your eyes.